Well, cost of living is going to be the number one issue this election, and rightly so. And with that, energy prices are front and centre of the campaign. Joining me now to discuss what both parties have on offer is geologist Ian Plimer. Ian, great to see you as always. Let's start with the coalition. Big focus on getting more gas into the system. What does this mean, and is it enough?
It's going to be very hard to get more gas into the system when we have bureaucrats slowing down the approvals process for drilling wells, when we have bureaucrats slowing down the process for putting in pipelines, when we have governments trying to milk as much gas as they can, yet slowing down the process. So we need politicians to stand up to the bureaucrats and say, no, this is our policy. We are going to produce a lot of gas and quickly. This is not happening. That's both sides of politics are really dropping the ball when it comes to increasing the amount of gas that gets into the pipelines.
And a gas reservation, Ian, explain how that works.
It works by breaking contracts, which we have had with Japan and with Korea and other countries. There was a time once when gas wasn't worth very much, and long-term users of gas, like Japan, signed contracts for this gas for 30 or 40-year contracts, and the price of gas went up. Now we have governments wanting to break these contracts with our major trading partners saying, oh, hang on a tick, we didn't mean to sell you cheap gas. We're going to break these contracts. That's not on. We cannot do that. The only way to put more gas in the system is not to break contracts for export of gas, but to actually drill more wells. And we know where to drill. We know how to get this to market. We just have to get governments and bureaucrats out of the way.
My understanding is that the coalition said that they wouldn't be changing any existing contracts, but the reservation would apply to new wells. So I guess that's we shall see. How important is the fuel rebate going to be, particularly, obviously, for small businesses, but also for our mining and agricultural businesses?
Well, it's not enough, and it's too short. We have excise on fuel. And then that fuel, we pay a double taxation on it with the GST. So we have massive fuel costs in this country. This country lives on diesel. If we can't use diesel for ploughing, for seeding, for weeding, for harvesting, for processing and transporting food to the cities, then the cities run out of food. And we don't have enough diesel to defend this country. We don't have enough aviation fuel to defend this country. This is an absolute tragedy that has been created by both sides of government, where we do not have fuel storage. We do not refine enough fuel in this country. We depend upon refined fuel to come in from Singapore, Malaysia and India in seaways. It could be very easily blocked. You've only got to block one ship, and insurance companies won't ever insure another ship coming to Australia. We have technology around, it's been around for nearly 100 years to convert coal into liquid fuels. The Germans did that in the Second World War when they were isolated. The South Africans have done it with their Sasol process. We actually have to think very, very seriously about fuel security, because we currently are like a shag on a rock, just waiting for someone to stop one ship coming in, and then we do not get food coming to the cities. So there needs to be urgent action taken on liquid fuels.
And finally, Ian, nuclear. We really didn't hear that much. I mean, the coalition have backed nuclear. How critical is this for our future?
It's absolutely vital. We need as much energy as possible, because once you have energy, you have a great economy. Now, we once had cheap fuel. We once had reliable energy. We once had cheap energy. We don't any longer. In 1969, John Gorton, as Prime Minister, went down the nuclear path. The foundations of a nuclear power station were actually poured at Jervis Bay, where there was to be a petrochemical industry, where there was to be refining, where there was to be steelworks. And when Billy McMahon came in as Prime Minister in, I think it was March 1971, that was killed off. And we could have been a major nuclear country. We could have had a nuclear power running this country together with coal, together with gas, together with hydro, and we blew it. Now, if we were a nuclear-powered company, we wouldn't have had the Chinese doing a circumnavigation of Australia with their drive-by shootings. They wouldn't have dared do it. We have blown it, and that was blown a long, long time ago. We should be a major nuclear power. We provide about 4,000 tonnes of uranium in yellowcake every year, which we export to the world. And maybe, and this is just a thought to finish with, maybe a country like the US, which doesn't have much uranium, maybe we could do a deal with the US. And maybe we could say, well, you make us the 51st state and you will get uranium.
Or don't give us any tariffs on our steel and aluminium and we'll do a deal on the... Absolutely. Get on that plane. We want to see Peter Dutton on that plane. If he wins the election, which I'm sure he will, he's got to get on that plane to Washington on the very next day. Ian Plimer, thank you so much for coming on The World According to Rowan Dean.